What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my final thoughts video for UFC 263, and what a phenomenal card we have coming up tomorrow. Especially from the main card standpoint, like you really cannot get much better than the fights on the main card. You have 3 5-round fights, 2 of which being title fights. Really looking forward to all 3 of those. Also have Belal Muhammad going against Maia, which is probably the worst fight on the pay-per-view portion of the card, but still, it's a good fight nonetheless. And then you open it up with Hill versus Craig, which is going to be an absolute banger, and I'm excited. I'm excited to have a decent amount of bets. We'll talk about those. We'll talk about some Draftkings as well. I feel like it's a great Draftkings slate, and overall feeling pretty good about the card. So this is going to go a little bit longer than usual because we have 14 fights. We have a ton to talk about. I know there's a lot of stuff going on outside of this. We have Bellator going on, I do believe, and then also the UFC 263 ceremonial weigh-ins are going on. I think they start now, actually. So those are going to be going on. I'll be checking through those, while we do the live stream. Thanks for everybody for hanging out. Like I said, I know a lot of stuff's going on outside of this, but appreciate the people that show up week in and week out. We'll hit up the chat real quick, and then we will get started. Before I do so, do want to shout out the sponsor, Pub Sports Radio. Go over there and check them out. Did a new show on Sunday. It's going to be a regular thing with Uncle Weezy. We go a deep dive into an early look at the next card. So we went about like 2 hours going and, fight after fight, going really deep into the stats. It's going to be Sunday at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. And then I also go live on Pub Sports at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. So lots going on there. They are live right now doing the Bellator, so check that out after this as well. So what's up, everybody? Sean V, first one in the chat. Figgy looked awful on the scales. I agree. Going to switch my pick to Moreno. What's up, Travis? How you doing? Kung Dao Chicken. He always struggles on the scales, but still is a beast on Fight Night. Yep, he always does struggle on the scales. He's a huge guy, but I will admit that this is the worst he has looked ever. Looks like Figgy has issues being on the skills. Yep, some issues for sure. Please keep betting Moreno so I can get even better odds on Figgy. I can't wait to break down that fight. Anybody worried about the main event becoming a draw? I am not. Uncle Weezy in the chat. What's up, Uncle Weezy? Time to eat, Brady. I'm hungry. Let's get this money. I'm hungry as well. I'm feeling great about the card. Feeling great about my bets. Feeling great about Draftkings. Brady max bet Figgy, I think. No, I did not. I did not max bet Figgy. We have Lewis in here. I believe Paper Chaser. Let's see what else we got in the chat. Jimmy the Drunk needs a new kegerator, which I believe is a fridge for the keg. So hopefully you get it this week, Jimmy. Let's get it done. I agree. 263. Let's eat. I agree. Let's eat. What's up, TJ? Here we go. Let's get it going. I agree. What's up, Brady? This card's going to be awesome. Let's win some cash tomorrow. I agree. You had a very, very good on DraftKings last week. Was so close to a takedown. Needed less than 2 points away. Hopefully, get it this week. That'd be sweet. But yeah, I already got all my lineups done. I got both my articles done. Got really ahead this week, and it feels great to be done with just about everything outside of I got to record 2 more videos. What's up, Nicholas? Really like your prediction videos. Appreciate that. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Who's your favorite live dog on the card? We'll talk about it very soon, actually. Is Connor fighting? No, he's not. What's up, Tajik? How you doing? How do you feel about Davis for cash? I'm not going there personally, but I don't hate it. Smash a like. I agree. Let's try to get to 100 likes by the end of the video. I don't know how much people are going to show up, but let's try to get the 100. I think we got it last time. Any parlays? I have 2. My easiest bet on the card. I don't know about that. And let's see if we all caught up here. Any parlays this week? Yes, I have 2. I need some dollars. Let's get some. I agree. Okay, we're all caught up. So we'll get started. I'm going to check on the weigh-ins and see if they started yet. No, they have not. So I'll be keeping up with that as well. But we'll start with the first fight of the night. And like I said, this is a very good card, but unfortunately we have to start with a very, not a great fight. Carlos Felipe going against Jake Collier. Felipe actually opened -310. And Collier opened up +245. I see a lot of people, a lot of really sharp, really smart people on the Jake Collier side. And I get it, especially at the +245, especially at the +200 and above mark. But now that it's getting to +150, I would not recommend taking a shot on Jake Collier. Personally, I am going on the other side of Carlos Felipe. I just think, people could be overrating that fight with Jean Vellante. And I talked about it on my prediction video. I mean, you can't really get much worse of competition in the heavyweight division than like a Jean Vellante. Like, that's bottom of the barrel. So yes, Jake Collier looked really good. He looked really fast. He threw a lot of volume. It was against Jean Vellante. So I fear that people might be looking into that fight a little bit too much. This is going to be a much tougher test than Felipe, who, I don't rate all that highly, but he does have some good aspects of his game. He has some good cardio for the heavyweight division. He has some good output for the heavyweight division as well. And the guy is really, really durable. I think if there's a finish on either side here, it's going to be Carlos Felipe getting the knockout, as Jake Collier has been knocked out in 3 out of 5 losses, I believe. As far as DFS goes, I mean, I don't see Collier wrestling. I do believe he has a wrestling background, but to see him doing that at the heavyweight division, don't really see it happening. The cardio is definitely a concern. I remember the Jean Vellante fight. He was looking up at the clock late in that 3rd round. Felipe's going to be the fresher guy, I do believe, going into later rounds as well. I mean, it's a close fight. I get the dog shot on Jake Collier. It's not something I would do. I would never, ever, ever bet on this fight, but I do respect the dog shot. I know a lot of sharp guys. A lot of guys I'm really cool with taking the dog shot on Collier. I respect it. But personally, I'm going the other way on Felipe. As far as DFS goes, you guys know how I feel about the first fight of the night. Typically, it finds its way on the optimal lineup, and typically it's very low owned. We saw last week where Claudio Puelas, I forget his ownership, but he found his way on the optimal lineup. He only scored like 86 points, which was weird as well. I'd be a little surprised if this fight did find its way on the optimal lineup. I did my ownerships already. I'm like 15% Felipe. I have like 13% Collier, so I'm not going crazy on it, but I will have some exposure just based off the fact that it's a big card. We have fans. Maybe they'll stand in the middle and bang. I know Felipe against Tafa, there's just one point where they were just standing in the middle and banging, and I thought to myself, like, man, Jake Collier probably does not take those same shots that Tafa did. So I actually think Felipe is somewhat live for a knockout, but he has not shown much power thus far in the UFC. I will take Felipe as a pick. I would never in a million years bet this fight, but respect to everybody that has that dog shot on Collier, especially plus 200 and better. Now, I just don't see the point of betting it at plus 150 personally. So what do you guys have in this first fight? Lots of love on the Collier side. I think he's one of the more public dogs of the week, and I understand it in a way. I think it should be somewhat of a close fight. Let's see what we got. Felipe is a must on DraftKings. Don't sleep on it. So funny you say that. So I do a DraftKings article every week and actually put Felipe as my low-owned dart throw because, I'm not sure that Collier can take some of these shots from a big guy in Felipe. And although he has not shown power yet, it's a heavyweight fight at the end of the day. We see a lot of times where, the fight does end inside the distance. So would I be shocked if Felipe finished the fight? No, I would not. Good cardio, good output, solid power, not devastating power, but maybe he does, find a finish. Felipe is a beast. Come on, Tashik. These guys, both of them aren't great. Peterson was even money right after the weigh-ins. People must have bet Hooper after the Peterson weigh-ins, which we'll talk about. Let's go. What's going on? Felipe just got a 4-fight contract in March. I don't like betting on pro athletes who just got paid. I think Collier wants it more and gets the decision. He could. It could be close at the end of the day. Felipe Collier would be fight of the night if the UFC made their win bonus a year of free buffets at Golden Corral. Come on. Maybe. What's good, Brady? What's up? I'm just Drew. How you doing? Man, Uncle Weezy. Felipe looks great as a blonde. You got to believe he gets the job done here. Yeah, that blonde hair could do it. I almost bet Felipe, but I did not do it at the end. If you want to bet Felipe, I'd wait like right up until fight time. I think some money still might be coming in on Collier because, pretty much everybody's picking him as far as I've seen. I agree. It's an easy fade for me. Like, I would never bet this fight ever. Like, I can understand it like plus 200 Collier, but at this price, I just don't really want to get involved. Little appreciation for all your great work. Okay, Felipe is the Jake Paul of MMA better. Felipe is the Jake Paul of, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know how to interpret that. But shout out to Tajik. So yeah, not the best fight on the card to kick it off, but it's a fight. It's a fight. So we'll get to the next fight. We have a very interesting one. We have Fares Ziam going against Luigi Vandermeeny. Ziam opened up minus 130 and he's currently minus 120. Luigi Vandermeeny opened up plus 100, currently plus 110. So I taped this fight, I want to say maybe 2.5 weeks ago. This is a fight that I wanted to look into early because I thought about, potentially betting the Vander Meeny side after getting away from the tape or getting it all done. I decided to pass. I would line it, towards a pick 'em myself. Kind of got a striker versus grappler situation here. And, not saying Luigi, doesn't have good striking, because he does. He has ever improving striking, but, Ziam's clearly going to have the striking advantage and Luigi's going to clearly have the grappling advantage. So I kind of thought, like, if this fight does get extended, how does Luigi's gas tank look? We have never seen him go the distance. All of his fights have finished, which is going to be very important for the DFS standpoint. And as far as Ziam, a lot of his fights are finishing as well. He has been submitted in 2 out of 3 losses, which is a huge point here to make, because Luigi Vander Meeny is a legit black belt. I believe he's finished, about half his wins by submission. He was a black belt since he was a little kid. And, the guy's grappling's good. The guy's grappling is really good. We saw him come in on short notice up a weight class against Eliza Zaleski dos Santos, and it looked like he was about to get him out there for a second. He took his back, but of course he couldn't get it. He kind of slowed down. He got knocked out. But man, what happens if Luigi takes Ziam's back in the first round? And I don't think it's all that crazy that happens, because we take a look at Ziam, and in 2 fights, the guy's been taken down 8 times. He got taken down 5 by Malarkey and then 3 times by Dom Madge. And the guy's been controlled like just about 15, 16 minutes in 2 fights, which is crazy. So I don't get why Ziam, is getting much love, or why he's a slight favorite. If anything, this should be a pick 'em, maybe slightly into Vander Meeny. I know some people taking the shot on Vander Meeny as an underdog, and I don't hate that at all. I was tempted myself, decided to pass ultimately, but I do have a small little sprinkle here. You guys know me. I do like these small sprinkles at, price tags that are off. And I saw one, I think it's still there, and I'm surprised it's there, because me and I think Uncle Weezy pointed this out earlier in the week that, Vander Meeny by sub plus 950 on FanDuel. Like, that makes 0 sense. The guy's a legit black belt. When Ziam loses, he loses by submission. So for that to be plus 950 is just insane. So I did put 0.25 units on it, a little sprinkle. I think if Vander Meeny does win, it's a really good chance it is by submission. I'd be kind of surprised if he did knock out Ziam, and I'd be surprised if he won his first decision as well. So, man, plus 950. I think that's live. I think it's, very, very live, and I did take a small shot there. Honestly, tempted to add a little bit more onto that because the line is so off. But, nonetheless, just a little stab here. And as far as DraftKings goes, I like this fight a lot. Vander Meeny has never seen the distance. I don't think that changes here. I think he's very live for an early finish and early sub. And if not, I can see him slowing down. I can see Ziam getting a late finish. So going to be pretty high on it as a whole. Vander Meeny is one of my highest owned dogs on the slate, and I'm going to pick him outright to win. But yeah, very, very good fight. 2 guys that are interesting. I think Luigi's very interesting. I think this guy has some upside, very young. I think he's like 24, 25 years old as well. So really excited to see him come back in here. Made some good money on him last time against Justin Iari. I wasn't expecting him to go out there and knock out Iari, but nonetheless. Brady, how many decisions do you see on this card? I'm not sure. I mean, we saw, the past couple fights where we have fans. I don't know what it is, but these guys just, fight harder, and we see more finishes with these fans. So I don't know. I can see a lot of fights ending inside the distance just for that reason. I can't give you an exact number, though. Tajik Bey, appreciate the dono, $4.99. Little appreciation for all the great work you do. Appreciate that. Good luck this week, Brady. Appreciate that, Tajik. You are the GOAT. Parlay Luigi, Hill, Muhammad Edwards, Davison Adesanya. Solid. Have you ever been to a DraftKings event? I went to one and got that same polo. No. Hopefully I can go to one soon, though. What's up, Gus? What's up, Dom? The weigh-ins just started. Y'all be checking those out while I'm doing this, some multitasking. Another dono from Tajik. Let's see what he has to say. Appreciate the dono, $4.99. And to Uncle Weezy, his channel is great. Check him out. Yeah, go check out Uncle Weezy. He's on YouTube, Uncle Weezy. He does, breakdowns fight by fight. He goes really into depth and lots of great stuff on there. Me and Uncle Weezy also did a main event prediction video on my channel Monday. So shout out to Uncle Weezy. The guy's the man. Does the work with all the stats. Really does help out. What do you do with the 5 round fights on DK? Jam all 3. We'll kind of talk about it. There are some I like more than others. I'm playing a lot of them. A lot of exposure to all 3. Outside of the main event, I don't have much exposure, more on the Marvin Vettori side, but we'll talk about that. Face off started. And cheers to me, of course, the good at my betting. Yep, cheers to you, man. Shout out from the GOAT. Yep. Brady, you're all class all the time. Yep, try to be as classy as possible. Appreciate that. Top 5 pick, I like Riddell, Izzy, Felipe, and Calderwood and Figueiredo. I like all those as well. Luigi's average fight time is only 3.5 minutes. Maybe he gasses late in the fight. That's kind of what I'm thinking as well. So both sides for me, I lean Luigi. I lean that sub prop. But if he doesn't get it done early, I do worry about what happens after that. All right, so we have the ceremonial weigh-ins right now. Looks like that's Matt Frevola. Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that fight for sure. That fight's going to be good. And then now is coming out is Kianzad and Alexis Davis, which a fight that I don't really care about. But I do want to see Figueiredo. I do want to see Figueiredo at the weigh-ins. I think that's the biggest one that everybody's looking forward to seeing. All right, so next we have a very interesting fight. Steven Peterson going against Chase Hooper. We'll touch on the weigh-ins a little bit. So we saw some money come in on the Hooper side. Peterson did not weigh in until like the final 5-10 minutes. And then we saw some Hooper money coming in. And I don't necessarily agree with that. Take a look at Peterson on the scales. I mean, he didn't look bad to me. I don't know if I'm seeing it wrong, but he looked fine. And he got, I think it was like 2 pounds overweight, 2.5 pounds overweight, something like that. But you got to think like that's going to help him in this matchup against, Chase Hooper, who, isn't physically strong already, but now he has to fight, Peterson, who's coming in a little bit overweight. You got to think maybe that was one of those times where people come in, they don't try to cut that weight because it could be an advantage in the fight. And I kind of see it like that. It didn't look like he really tried to cut those extra 2 pounds or whatever it was. And the fight in general, I posted a little breakdown on my Twitter earlier in the week. I really like Peterson here. I really like Peterson. You open up minus 150, a minus 170 on some books. I kind of agree with the opener a little bit more than where it's at now. Chase Hooper, I think he has more upside between the two fighters. It's just, his wrestling's horrible, 7%. He's not physically strong. His striking is atrocious. His striking defense is horrible. He's very hittable. He's very tough. I'll give him that. But you got to think that Peterson's going to have a striking advantage in a pretty decent one. Although Peterson's not the best striker himself, he's still a better striker. And then, Peterson, a lot of people think he sucks. He's not great. And maybe he's not. But he's going to have the striking advantage. He's going to have the strength advantage. He's going to have the wrestling advantage. You give the jiu-jitsu advantage to Hooper. He's a black belt. But Peterson's no fish out of water on the mat. Peterson's a brown belt. He's been a brown belt for forever. I was taking a look at his Instagram. I think he got his brown belt maybe like 2015, 2016. So it's been a while since he has that brown belt. And he's never been submitted in like 26, 27 fights, which is huge to mention. So if you're telling me that Hooper's path to victory is him, pulling guard, getting a heel hook, I just don't see it. I know people are really high on Hooper, and we'll talk about the Tapology predictions tomorrow on my live stream before the fight start. But it's like 60% or 70% picking Hooper, and I just don't understand that. I think most people that are picking Hooper don't even know who Peterson is. We haven't seen Peterson in a while. It's just I don't know. I can't take Hooper here. I just can't do it. He's not strong. 7% takedown accuracy, and Peterson has good takedown defense, 75%. And what I liked on the tape for Peterson is when he gets taken down, he's very good at getting back up. So even if Hooper does get him down, which it would shock me, good luck holding him down. And is he going to pull guard? Is he going to get a heel hook on a solid, grappler and Peterson? I just don't see it happening. So if you like Hooper, plus 240 by sub. If you have the FanDuel Sportsbook, it's like plus 350, something like that. I just take the sub prop. I don't see Hooper knocking out Peterson. I don't see Hooper winning decision. And ultimately, I did place a bet on Peterson. I got on this one early. I wasn't expecting money to come in on Hooper. But, looking back at it, I guess I should have expected it because people really like, betting on the hyped fighters. And Hooper, has a lot of hype. People really like him. People like the upside. So I guess I should have expected some money to come in on Hooper. But I thought, like, man, if people actually look into this fight, Peterson looks like a really good player, especially at minus 125. And that's where I got him, or minus 124. I have 1.25 units on Peterson at minus 124. He's my only straight bet of the night. I do like that play. I wish I would have waited, but man, I was really expecting the line to go the other way. But looking back at it, I should have expected it. I mean, 91% of people picked Jordan Levitt last week. 91% of people picked Tom Breeze last week. people really do like the hyped fighters. So as far as DFS goes and DraftKings, solid fight to target. I actually like Hooper at 7,800 on DraftKings at an underdog price tag. If he wins, it's probably by sub. So I have some decent amount of Hooper. As far as Peterson, I don't hate it. He's going to land probably a lot of volume. Maybe he does get takedowns himself, stay safe, but Hooper is always live for that sub in 15 minutes. So it could happen. Yep. I'm leaning towards no, but I think it's a solid fight to target overall on DK. But yeah, give me Peterson. I mean, I can't pick a guy that his path to victory is getting beat up all fight, pulling guard, and getting a heel hook. I just can't do it. So let me see where the weigh-ins are at. We're at Eric Anders. Okay, Eric Anders going against Darren Stewart. Okay, so I do want to see Figgy. All right. Hardest 2 pounds are the hardest 2 pounds to lose are the last two, 100%. But it looks like he did not try to do that, at least to me. He looked just fine. I 100% agree. He looked fine. Yeah, and you got to imagine he's going to rehydrate. He's going to be the much bigger, stronger guy. Uncle Weezy bringing up the stats. I like when the stats from Uncle Weezy do back up my thoughts. So let's see what he has to say. Chase Hooper, 1 of 14 in takedown attempts in the UFC. And Peterson has successfully defended 9 of 12 takedown attempts against him. Very good. Hooper should have bailed with Peterson not making weight. Peterson wins easy. I don't think he wins easy because, Peterson's not great, but I do think stylistically this is a matchup he really should win. You have him parlay to even money with Moreno at plus 175. Good line there. Did anyone look bad at weigh-ins? Yeah, yes. Yeah, we'll talk about him. He's in the co-main event. We'll talk about him. Help me get 2 subscribers. Yeah, go subscribe to MQ Boxing. And speaking of subscribers, thank you guys for 11K. Hit that last week. Appreciate that. Growing the channel. Couldn't do it without you guys. All right. So we're at Drew Dober now on the weigh-ins. Going against Brad Riddell. I'll be watching these later. I want to see Figgy and see how Figgy looks. Yeah, but the Drew Dober Riddell fight is going to be an absolute banger. All right, so we'll get to the next one here. And yeah, I have some action on this fight. Matt Frevola going against Terrence McKinney. To sum it up, McKinney, he fought last week or 2 weeks ago, so he should be coming in decent shape. But me and Uncle Weez were talking about this, and you got to think after McKinney won, he probably, had a big meal, probably partied a little bit. So, he had to cut weight again. So I don't know how his gas tank's going to be in that aspect. And, his gas tank in general is just not great. So some things to point out in this fight is McKinney has never seen the scorecards ever. He's seen the 3rd round once, and he's seen the 2nd round twice. I think he has never been over that 2.5 round mark as well. So that sticks out to me. You have Matt Frevola, who, doesn't have the best chin, has been knocked out only once, though, but he's been dropped a ton. And that one knockout loss was by, arguably one of the worst fighters in UFC history in Marco Polo Reyes. So I think we have, somewhat of a live dog on our hands. I would not, bet this fight as far as, picking a winner. I think there's better ways to attack this. On DraftKings, I'm going to have a lot of this fight. I think Frevola has opportunity to get a finish, get some takedowns, get control time. McKinney, same thing. I think McKinney's live. If he does win, it's probably some type of 1st round finish himself. So I like McKinney as a punt. I like Frevola as a play as well. Overall, pretty high on this fight. But I think the way to look at it is going to be the violence. I'd be shocked at this fight, seeing the scorecards, especially considering McKinney, like I said, has been to the 3rd round once. In that fight in the 3rd round did end fairly early. And then the other thing is McKinney's never seen the distance. So I do have 2 bets on this fight. One is going to be a parlay piece. I have a violence parlay, and this is going to be in it. I got the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 205 in that parlay. And then I got the fight doesn't go to decision straight, minus 150, and I have 1.5 units on it. I think the under is really good. I think the fight doesn't go to decisions really good, although it's taken a lot of steam as of late. Like even at minus 200, where it's at now, minus 210, I think that's phenomenal. The under 2.5, I think is at like minus 170. I think that's really good. So I do have, the violence in a parlay, and I do have it straight as well. So a lot of my night is riding on this fight to finish, and I think it does. Frevola tends to get into these brawls, these wars. He's going to have a cardio advantage. I think if McKinney does not get him out there early, I do think that Frevola does take over and get a finish himself. So as far as a pick, I'll go Frevola because he's had, more time to prepare. He is probably the better fighter, but I'd never want to trust a guy that got knocked out by Marco Polo Reyes in Frevola. Riddell looked good. Yeah, I thought he looked fine. He came in very late. Hill don't look like anything special. We'll talk about him soon. No problem. MQ. Polo Reyes is not too bad. Yeah, I give him a lot of crap. Craig is wound up. Yeah, they both are wound up. Terrence McKinney has died 2 more times in his life than he has seen the scorecards. Fight doesn't go to decision, probably the best bet. Yeah, if you guys did not see the article, I guess McKinney died twice. He died twice. Hill's going to spark Craig inside 1.5. I like it. Let's see where we are in the ceremonial weigh-ins. We're at Bilal Muhammad and Damian Maia. Cool. So I do want to see the Figgy one, which is coming up pretty soon here. So that's coming up in 2 fights. So now we're looking at Leon Edwards and Diaz, a fight that I'm looking forward to as well. So yeah, we'll check out on that in a second. But we can kind of skim over this next fight. I know I don't want to go too long. I know we have 14 fights. So the picks Davis on this one for me. As far as DFS standpoint, I'll play more Davis than Kansas. Kansas is a full fade for me. I think of like 2%, if that. Davis, she could get takedowns. The thing is, and why I'm not betting Davis is, 1, she's like 36 years old, and for 2, she's really inconsistent with her wrestling. Sometimes she goes out there and gets takedowns, and sometimes she doesn't. And I can already see myself, screaming at the TV, "What are you doing? Why aren't you going for takedowns?" She lands about a takedown per 50 minutes, maybe less than that, which is not good enough for me. If I knew for a fact that she was going to shoot, 5, 6, 7, 8 takedowns, I'd bet her instantly in this fight. It's just sometimes she wants to wrestle, sometimes she doesn't. I think she has a massive advantage on the ground, but she's too inconsistent for me to take a shot on her. It's dog or pass for me from a betting perspective. Was tempted to betting it, but at the same time, I don't really want to get too involved with this fight. So big pass. I know a lot of people are high on Panny. She's interesting, but I have seen her taken down. I've seen her held down. Good takedown defense on paper, but I do think Davis could expose her there. All right, so we just got done with the Leon Edwards and Diaz. Oh, they're doing a little promo, so we have some time. But yeah, I want to see Figgy. I want to see how Figgy looks, because that's kind of the big story as far as the weigh-ins go, because Figgy did look really bad. Figgy looked awful, and I went back and watched past weigh-ins of Figgy, and he just did not look great. At first time I was seeing it live, Figgy looked a little shaky. There were people next to him to make sure he didn't fall down. It's not something I really like to see. But at the same time, we've seen instances where, these guys look awful at weigh-ins and people run to the betting window, bet the other side, and then the guys that look awful, they still win. So we'll see. Yeah, Alexis Davis or McKinney on DK. I think the upside's more on the McKinney side. I like him a little bit both. I have like 30% McKinney, like 28% Davis, something like that. Diaz looks homeless. I like screaming helplessly at the TV, so I bet half a unit on Davis by decision at plus 325 on DK. Some value there, in my opinion. I don't hate it. Yeah, Figgy looked a bit off on the skills. I agree. Hydrate. Yeah, he's going to rehydrate here. But yeah, I can't wait to see how Figueiredo does look, because I do have some action on that fight. But yeah, they're doing a little promo right now. But yeah, that fight, the last one, the draw, it was a really good fight. I thought the commentary was very biased. I remember yelling at the TV like, Moreno lands a nice shot. They're going crazy. Figueiredo's hurt. And then Figueiredo lands a bunch of hard shots, and they are completely silent. Somebody made a little video of that on Twitter. I forget who did it, but it was hilarious because they went crazy when Moreno landed a shot that was blocked. And then they didn't say a word when Figgy landed a bunch of clean shots. It was hilarious. But yeah, we knew who the commentators were going for. At least it sounded like, man. Yep, the Figgy Moreno face-off is coming up. Long promo. Come on, I want to see this. Anders, Dober, or Peterson in single entry GPP. In my single, I have neither of them, but I guess Anders. Moreno sleeping Figgy, night. We'll see. Yeah, people really hate Figueiredo, especially after he pushed Moreno last night. Figueiredo is really upset. Oh wow, Figgy's saying that the fight's going to end in the first round as he rains down ground and pound. Yeah, Figgy's mad. Figgy is upset at some of the things that Moreno was saying. So it's going to be fun. Sorry, Fig Night Night. We'll definitely see. Trying to get into the Mexican market, so they're pushing Moreno, or UFC's trying to get into the Mexican market, so they're pushing Moreno. Yeah, it definitely does seem like they are pushing him. So here comes Brandon Moreno walking out, threw something into the crowd, maybe his hat, taking off his shirt now. We'll see if he throws that shirt in there as well. He does. Yeah, Moreno's a likable guy. Like, people really like this guy. I like him. I like his attitude. You know, he's a very nice guy. Figgy's the complete opposite. Figgy hates this guy. He hates him. And this face-off is going to be intense. So I do want to see this, and then we'll move on. So there's Moreno, and then now we will see Figgy. We'll see if he's all rehydrated. I'm curious to see how big he looks. Here he comes. He's looking good, guys. He's looking good. He's got the shades on. I don't like that. But he's looking pretty solid. Okay, walking up the step. Nice little jog up the steps. Blowing the kick. He looks phenomenal. He looks good. So there's Figgy. Take those shades off. Yeah, Figgy's looking good, guys. Nice flex. He did not flex at the weigh-ins earlier. Yeah, Figgy's looking solid. So now we'll see this face-off here. Looks like he rehydrated. Looking good. No problems. There they are, facing off. Okay, he puts his fist out there. Moreno touches his fist. Okay. Not as intense as I thought, but it was good. A nice flex by Figueiredo. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Fig looks good to me, man. Yeah, he looks way better. Wearing shades, not a good look. Figueiredo's a beast, though. Hate him all you want. Yeah, he's a beast. I like Fig quite a bit. Laying the hammer on Figgy. How does Figgy make 125? How? I don't know, man. But yeah, the good sign for Figgy backers there. And I'm not being biased. He really did look good. Is the king of 185. Leon future Beck contender. Figueiredo healthy. Bilal is hungry. Hill's a beast. I like it. This next face-off is going to need security. I want to see this as well, but I'm assuming they're going to do a promo. Okay, they're interviewing Figgy. But yeah, man, Figgy looks good. Figgy looks good. Yeah, oof. But yeah, so everybody ran to the betting window to bet on Moreno after the weigh-ins. I get it, but man, he did fill out quite nice. Okay, so we'll move on to Movsar Evloev going against Hakeem Dawodu, and we have Evloev 9,200 on DraftKings. Hakeem is 7,000. Evloev minus 220, and Hakeem is plus 200. So I know a lot of people taking a shot on Hakeem. Don't want to say he's like a public dog, but I see a lot of love for him, and I get it. This fight should play out somewhat close. I'm going with Movsar Evloev myself, though. I'm not going to have much interest in this fight, or really any at all on DraftKings. There's just so many good options in that 9K range. I'll have some Evloev because there is some wrestling upside, some takedown upside, control time upside. He's just not a finisher. I see this fight going the distance. If you're into parlaying, fight goes to distance. I think it's a fine parlay piece. I'll have it in my Hail Mary. But as far as a pick, I'll go Movsar. I think the striking is somewhat competitive. You got to favor Hakeem, but Movsar's striking is pretty solid himself. And then you got to factor in mixing in the takedowns, getting some control time as well. I do think Evloev wins a fairly competitive decision, but I just think the takedowns and the wrestling, the control time is just going to do enough to win the fight. But yeah, no interest in this one from a betting perspective outside of, the fight goes the distance as a solid parlay piece. Neither guy much of a finisher. Neither guy's been knocked out. Hakeem's one losses came by submission. Evloev by sub is plus 545. Not good enough for me. So yeah, pass from a betting perspective and more than likely a DFS perspective, but the pick is going to be Movsar Evloev. All right, so they're doing the promo for Vettori and Adesanya, and the more as the week goes on, I just keep getting more and more excited for this fight. Like, they do not like each other. I've never seen Izzy that mad. Figgy saving the flyweights, I agree. MQ Boxing only needs 2 subs to reach 1K. Hopefully you get that. How about Hakeem for DK Cash? I mean, there's so many great options down there. You have Moreno that I think is a solid cash play. Who else down there? You have Moreno. You have Vettori, who I think is a solid cash play. So I'm probably not going to get there, but I do think it's okay for cash. Hakeem is live. The leg kicks can screw anyone, and he don't stop. Stay away from the fight. Stay away fight. Yeah, I do agree. It's a stay away fight for sure. But yeah, we have 100 people in here. If you guys can all hit the like, let's try to get 100 likes by the time we get out here. We have so much going on, so don't know how much people are going to show up. Bellator, the weigh-ins. But yeah, shout out to everybody that is showing up tonight because I do know lots going on. So I do want to see the weigh-ins for this, but I think we have time for a quick breakdown here. So Joanne Calderwood, Lauren Murphy, I'll sum it up pretty fast here. Not a fight I'm looking forward to seeing, but I do like the Joanne Calderwood side. I mean, I'm just looking at the numbers. The stats really jump off the page. Is the output of Joanne Calderwood landing nearly 7 significant strikes per minute, almost double or maybe double, than Lauren Murphy. She's going to have a pretty big striking advantage. Lauren Murphy is on the hittable side. You favor the output, the striking to Calderwood. The only thing I'm concerned about is Murphy maybe taking down Calderwood, laying on her. Calderwood does not have the best takedown defense, but the judges as of late, they are scoring the strikes. They're scoring the damage. And I do think that Calderwood's going to be landing a significant amount more than Murphy. So I do think she'll get the nod there. I don't love the minus 135, minus 140, minus 150 that she's at, but I did like a prop earlier in the week that's going to be the fight or Calderwood wins by decision. I got it at plus 125. I believe it's plus 115. I have one unit on that. This fight's going the distance. And I do think that the output and the striking of Calderwood will be enough to get the nod from the judges. Like I said, the judges aren't really favoring, the wrestling and the control time, as we saw last week when it's controlled Woodson for the majority of that fight. They're scoring more of the strikes. So, I don't hate the shot on Calderwood just based off of that fact. And I think that she's the better fighter as well. But, Lauren Murphy, she's very tough. She's always in these close fights, but I do think the output and the striking is going to be enough to win the fight. Something's on my screen. So we'll take a look at the weigh-ins here. All right, so there's Marvin Vettori. Looking good. Looking ready. I really want to see how they react. I think Lauren Murphy is the one that tweeted it, but she said that if anybody touches the other fighter, they're kicked off the card or something like that. So I don't expect any pushing or nothing like that happening. Izzy's getting on the scale, looking solid. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this fight. It's gonna be good. So here they are facing off. Man, Marvin Vettori is a weirdo, dude. Look, oh, you gotta love him though. Talking some crap. Man, this fight's gonna be good. This fight's gonna be good. Both guys are ready. All right, so that's going to about end the weigh-ins there. They're interviewing them. So yeah. Can't wait for that fight. All right, let's hit up the chat real quick. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you, Jeremy, for hanging out. McKinney at 6,900 and a shot at a 1-minute finish. A super dangerous fight for Frevola, 100%, dude. Yeah, McKinney's a very good option for a pump play. Calderwood interview said she's going to take it slow and safe. Don't hate it. I don't hate it. Yep, take it safe. Different judges in Arizona, though, who may score the takedowns more. That could be for sure. Fig pushed Brandon. He pushed him last night. Yep. Angry Marvin for the win. I got Adesanya. We got a War Diaz in here. Adesanya looks great. Yeah, he looks good. Vettori looks good, but I think is in trouble. Yeah, I can't wait to break that fight down. All right, so we'll get to the next fight here, and we have a very interesting fight. Eric Anders going against Darren Stewart. And it's a weird one because this is something I taped a couple weeks ago thinking I might be playing Eric Anders because, to sum it up, we already saw this fight, right? But I don't think it's that simple. This fight's going to be up a weight class, 205 pounds. I went back and watched that fight, and I just didn't feel great about pulling the trigger on Anders, especially as a favorite here. It's just one of those lines where you think, man, this line is way too good to be true. And, every fight's different. I know a lot of people are expecting Anders to come in here and win by first-round knockout because he was on his way to do that last time. It's just you go back and watch the fight, and it was really competitive. Stewart was actually having success in that first minute and a half, and then Anders hurts Stewart, and that's when Anders really starts taking over, dominating the fight. So I was kind of thinking, what happens if Anders does not hurt Stewart early in that first round? Because Stewart's somebody that's very, very durable. Stewart's never been knocked out. He was on his way to getting knocked out this last fight, but he was talking about something was wrong with him going to that fight. Maybe it was a bad weight cut. Maybe it was an injury. I forget exactly what it was, but it's sketchy. Everybody's, picking Anders. I don't know one person. I really don't know one person that's picking Darren Stewart this week. And it's so sketchy because you see the line, minus 145. You got to think hey, we just saw this play out. Why isn't Anders, minus 200? I'll tell you why, because you can never trust Eric Anders. This is the same guy that, Uncle Weezy was talking about it. Made Khalil Roundtree look like the best fighter on earth. Khalil Roundtree knocked him down 4 times. This is the same guy that got outstruck on the feet by Gerald Meerschaert. This is the guy that lost to Elias Theodorou. So I want to put my hard-earned money on a guy like Eric Anders, even though we already saw the fight play out. No, I do not. No, I do not. Because would I be shocked if Eric Anders dropped the ball here? No, I would not. Because he does, drop the ball more often than not. But with that said, he's at a good camp. I think this is going to be his second camp in a row. I think he comes in here. He looks good. He's going to be the bigger fighter. Hold Stewart against the cage, take him down. Don't know if he knocks out Stewart. I don't see that happening. But, Anders by decision could be a look plus 230. I'll pick Anders. I don't feel great about it because, man, it just seems too easy. It seems too easy. And I don't want to trust Eric Anders with my money, to be honest. But I was tempted at first. But after going back and watching that last fight, didn't feel overly confident in it. But I know a lot of people that are going to be betting Anders. I know a lot of people that are going to be picking Anders. I think everybody's picking Anders. And as you probably should, it's just more often than not, we do not see a rematch play out the exact same. So just be cautious a little bit. As far as DFS goes, I do like Anders for the takedown upside, the grappling upside, control time, all that good stuff. Stewart, have a little bit, but Eric Anders is a very tough guy himself. But I'd just be a little bit careful with this fight. But as far as a pick, I will pick Eric Anders. Add it for the DK contest when you get a chance, man. DM on Twitter. Okay, I'll check it out. I'll be adding people tonight. Max bet on Leon. I'm not, but I think is gonna win. Change your pick to Vittori. We'll see. Probably not. Stewart and Anders are bums. Something like that. What's up, cap comparisons? I'm picking Stewart. Okay, so we do have somebody picking Stewart, and I don't hate it. I don't hate it going against the grain there. But everybody does expect Anders to come in here and get that first round knockout. I don't think it's that easy. What's up, Vince? Brady Mob. I like it. In all fairness, Elias throws 83 strikes per minute. Yeah, but he lands like 5 of those, maybe. Anders is now a fight-ready camp with Cejudo, though. A lot of fighters making a lot of good improvements at the camp, 100%. That's why I am ultimately going with Anders. The variance in Anders' performances makes him unbettable. Maybe the new fight-ready Anders is the real deal, but I just can't get there with them. With him, I 100% agree. Fight Ready has been pushing out winners like crazy. Yep, great camp, great camp. Best DK line, Izzy, Edwards, Craig, Calderwood, Davis, and Felipe. Decent. All right, looks like we got a lot more people ever since the weigh-ins are done. So if you guys can hit the like, let's get those likes up. Hopefully get to 100. I think we hit it last time. Let's hit it again. It's a big card. Big card, great card. And we're about to get into the last fight before we get on the main card here. Do want to shout out the sponsor once more, Pub Sports Radio. Go ahead over there and hit the sub button. We're going live for the fights tomorrow. I believe the fight start is 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be going live on my channel 1 hour prior to the fights at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So check that out as well. But we'll get into this fight here. And this is probably one of the best fights on the card. And we have Drew Dober going against Brad Riddell. It's a tough fight. It's a tough fight to call. I see people really confident on Drew Dober. I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's probably the better striker. He's fought the better level of competition. I just think, the striking is going to be competitive. Both guys, very high volume. I think this fight's decent to target on DraftKings. Dober, 8,500. Riddell, 7,700. Both guys are very, very durable. Dober's only been knocked out once. Riddell's never been knocked out in his career. I just see this going to decision, and especially with the judges, I don't know. I really don't want to get involved in this fight. For me, it's dog or pass for sure. I see this more as like a 50-50 fight. I'll lean with Riddell. Something I pointed out in my prediction video is don't be shocked if either guy does shoot for takedowns here. Both guys, have struggled with getting taken down. Riddell has struggled with getting taken down. Dober has like a 55% takedown defense. So I would not be shocked if either guy had the game plan to come in here and get this fight down to the mat, which a lot of people don't expect because we do expect to see a striker versus striker. But don't be shocked if that does happen. But as far as picking a winner, I'll take Riddell. Plus 130, it's kind of tempting because I do see this as a 50-50 fight. I don't know. I'll wait and see where the line goes. If I can get like plus 145, plus 150 Riddell, I'll probably take a shot then. I just don't really see why Dober's, minus 140. I see this fight more as like a very, very close fight that can go either way. More than likely, one of the better fights on the night. But I will ultimately pick Brad Riddell, pick the underdog. As far as DFS, I think both sides are fine. Riddell, very interesting as a dog at 7,700 as well there. I didn't go crazy on it, but I do have like 24% Riddell. Dober like 20 something percent as well. I could see it be optimal potentially, but I do think there's better fights to target. But it's gonna be a fun fight. It's gonna be a fun fight. I can't wait to see it. One of the better fights on the card for sure. If you're trying to get a girlfriend or wife into MMA, let them watch the Dober fight. My girl will be at work, so she won't be watching any fights. She's pretty upset about that. Got Anders in a bet with the co-main. There you go. Good luck to you. What's up, Jeremy? How you doing? Malarkey shook Riddell pretty good. He had some success at times. I think this fight comes down to the better chin. I'll take Dober. Both chins are phenomenal. Dober has a huge chin, just like the Leech, the iron chin. Yep. Both guys do for sure. Who are your favorite DFS plays? I like Jamal Hill quite a bit. I like Figueiredo. I like the dogs in the main event. I'm going to be targeting some Moreno. Going to be targeting some Vettori. Going to be targeting some McKinney. Going to be having some JoJo Calderwood. I think she scores well in her wins. Did I touch on Frevola? But, the fights like that. I got the last 3 fights of the night ending inside the distance. What do you think? I can see it. The only one that worries me is the main event. I think the main event has potential to go to decision. All of Riddell's training footage up to the fight has been him wrestling. Yeah, exactly. And he's had at least 1 takedown in all 3 of his fights. Something to think about. Okay, so we'll get to the next fight here, and we're going to open up the main card, which talked about it earlier. This main card is phenomenal. Really, you can't get much better than this. Jamal Hill versus Paul Craig, and I posted on Twitter earlier that I had my first max bet of the year. I don't do them often. I had like 3 last year, 2 or 3 last year. Don't do them often. This is going to be my first one of the year. I don't typically do it, but there was a line that I thought was, way off, and I did take a 5-unit stab on the fight. Doesn't go to decision. Got it on FanDuel Sportsbook at -235. Which that line is insane. And that line was actually there. They opened up the lines, I think, Monday. That line was there all week. And I was like, what's going on? Like, why isn't that line moving? So that -235 was there all week on FanDuel Sportsbook. And then finally, I think it just happened today, it went to like -335. So other books, you can get the fight doesn't get the decision at -275, -270. I see -285. And I think that's, pretty solid. But yeah, laying the juice here with that 5-unit max bet. So a lot of my night is riding on this fight finishing, which is, it's scary, but man, I really do think this fight finishes. And I also have another bet on another line that was way off. It is going to be Paul Craig versus Jamal Hill. The fight does not start round 3, +112, 1 unit on that as well. That was on FanDuel Sportsbook. That also was open all week. And then I think they just moved it to like -120 possibly. But even then, like I think it's solid. Basically to sum it up, I don't see this fight going the distance. Paul Craig has been to a decision 1 time in his entire career, and that was against a 7-year-old Shogun in a fight where he almost finished Shogun in that first round. I believe he almost got finished in that second round. Other than that, like he's getting, finishing his losses. 3 knockout losses. All 3 were in the first round. 1 submission loss as well. And then you take a look at Craig's wins, 100% finish rate, the majority of them coming by submission. So Jamal Hill, this is everybody's favorite parlay piece of the week. I was actually looking to parlay Jamal Hill with Leon Edwards, but after getting into the tape, I decided to pass on it. There's I don't know, it's a tough fight to call. I am picking Jamal Hill to win. I'm picking him to win by first round knockout. I just have some question marks still. I know people are really, really high on this guy, and I get it. I do think he has a lot of upside. He has a ton of volume, which I love. He has a ton of power. He has great cardio. He has all these great things about him. It's just he was taken down 6 times by Darko Stosic. I know people don't look into that all that much, but I kind of do. Because, yes, he was able to get back up easily from Darko Stosic. It's just what happens if Paul Craig takes you down 6 times? What happens if Paul Craig takes you down once? Like, that's not good. Having Paul Craig on top of you is not a great thing. And I guess I saw the interview with when Hill was talking about he got taken down 6 times because he broke his hand or something like that, which is interesting. So that's why he got taken down 6 times, because his hand was hurt. So that's that. But the OSP fight, the Klitz and Abreu fight, what I hated about those fights was, yes, he looked phenomenal, but OSP and Klitzen combined shot for 0 takedowns. Like, come on. I mean, we saw a hole in that guy's takedown defense. It's sitting at 53%. And then OSP and Klitzen Abreu shot for a combined 0 takedowns. So we have virtually learned nothing. So I know, like I said, Hill's everybody's favorite parlay piece. He probably does win. I personally would not parlay him, but I do like that fight doesn't go to decision. I think that fight doesn't go to decision is very good. And especially there's some things we also got to factor. The crowd. We've seen a lot more finishes with the crowd. People are fighting for those bonuses. People are fighting to entertain, it looks like, with the crowd. Another big factor is these guys hate each other. These guys absolutely hate each other. Jamal Hill, I believe he predicted a first-round knockout, and I believe Paul Craig predicted a second-round submission. And, Jamal Hill's talking about, this isn't going to the distance. I like to hear that. He said he wants to make sure Paul Craig has to be carried from the cage after the fight. I like hearing that. And these guys just don't like each other. I think Paul Craig was talking about Hill pulled out of the fight because he was ducking Paul Craig, something like that, along those lines. So they got into it. And they've been getting into it like all week. I've seen multiple videos of them going up to each other, talking some crap. So I'd be shocked, like, if this fight does not end inside the distance. I mean, I don't know one person that's picking Craig by decision. I don't know one person that's picking Hill by decision. If either of those happen, I mean, it's going to be the first time that Paul Craig wins a decision. It's going to be the first time that Paul Craig loses by decision. So as scary as it is, a lot of my night is riding in or on this fight ending inside the distance, and I'd be shocked. I mean, I would be really shocked if this fight did not end inside the distance. It's minus 285. There's not even another fight that's close to the minus 285 fight doesn't get the decision. So yeah, wish me luck, guys. Wish me luck. So I'm like 6 units deep on this fight finishing. So yeah, I absolutely need it to finish for sure. I think it does. I'm confident it does. I thought the minus 235 was off. Honestly, I think there's like an 85, 90% chance this fight does end inside the distance, like 9 out of 10 times. So yeah, we'll let it play out. The only thing that would scare me is, like, sometimes we see these finishers, Killer Be Killed fighters come out and they, like, want to take their time and all that, stay at range. That's not something Paul Craig does. He's a Killer Be Killed fighter. So unless there's like some major adjustments in the game of Paul Craig, he's probably getting knocked out here. But if Paul Craig gets the fight down to the mat, could be trouble. I mean, we don't know much about the ground game of Jamal Hill. I know Jamal Hill's saying that he has the better ground game. I can assure you he does not. I can assure you he does not. And I can assure you he does not want to go to the mat with Paul Craig in any fashion. On top, on bottom, avoid the ground. All right. Let's see what we got here. Hill inside the distance play of the day. Craig going to stand right in front of him. Yeah, I mean, I don't see it. Like, if they stand at range, it's Hill's going to destroy him. Just my 2 cents. What's going on, 2 cents? How you doing? I think Jamal knocks him out. I don't like the overconfidence in Hill. I don't as well. I was going to parlay him, but after I got through tape, no way I can parlay him, because what happens if Craig gets him down? Yep, Craig does not want to stay on the feet with Hill. Looking at Hill's fight log, he retired a guy with a TKO in 2019. What is the stats for Paul Craig's takedowns? Actually, on paper, like, solid wrestler. I think he averages like a little over 2 takedowns per 15 minutes, like a 45% takedown accuracy. So on paper, it's pretty good. Yeah, Hill is getting emotional, which is not great. So I would leave him out of the parlays, but I know that, a lot of people parlayed him. Best of luck. I do think it hits. It's just, I think there's better ways to play it. Silky B, thank you for the donation. Digging the extra content. Best of skill to you this weekend, Brady. Appreciate that, Silky B. Good luck to you on your bets. That'd be crazy if Craig has another sub with 1 second remaining to save your bet. I don't even want it to get there, man. I want it to end in the first round. Just get it over with. And I do think there's a good chance it does end in the first round. The under 1.5 is better odds. Yeah, under 1.5 is like minus 105, minus 110. I don't mind that. I do not mind that at all. We have seen these fights so many times. Should be quick KOs. Then it's a dog decision from grinding them. Yeah, I mean, I'd be shocked if Paul Craig got a decision. Really shocked. Craig by decision plus 900 could see a wrestling stalemate led by Craig to go the distance. Yeah, I think if he gets it to the mat, he's going to finish it, though. 6 units, yep. Appreciate that. Good luck. Hopefully you don't get a Dusko versus Gregory. Yeah, that fight was weird, but Dusko did not show up. Dusko did not show up in that fight. These guys want to kill each other. Dusko's still shook from Soriano. Soriano took his soul. This guy, or these guys, are want to get in there and fight. I've got Moreno. Ready the boss back at it. Yes, sir. UFC wants Mexican champ Moreno decision. Yep. Can Paul hold him down if he gets to the mat? Hill scrambles decent. Yeah, he scrambled decent against Klitzen Abreu or Darko Stosic. Can he do it against Paul Craig? I don't know. 13 of 50 on takedown attempts in the UFC. 2.11 takedowns per 50 minutes in Craig. Hill, 53% takedown defense. Terrifying numbers on paper. Terrifying. We don't know. We don't know how good his ground game is. He claims that it's better than Craig's, but I can claim that it's not. All right, so we'll get to the next fight. Yeah, not going to talk much about this one. I'd rather spend more time on the 3 5-round fights. Belal Muhammad, Damian Maia. I'm going to pick Belal Muhammad just based off the fact that Maia is 70 years old. But if Maia was like 40 years old in this fight, 41, I'd probably, especially at this price tag, take a shot on Maia because we have not seen Muhammad fight many guys that are going to try to take him down. I mean, Chance Rencounter comes to mind as of recent, but other than that, it's pretty much all strikers. So although his takedown defense on paper is very good, it's just he has not faced many people trying to get him down to the mat, and especially a guy in Damian Maia who is one of the best grapplers in UFC history. But Maia's 43 years old, about to be 44. I think he's 43 years old in 7 months, so he's turning 44 in October. So cardio's not there. I mean, I don't know. It could get iffy early if Maia does get this down to the mat. It's just, I don't know. I can't pick somebody that I think is like the 4th or 3rd oldest fighter on the current UFC roster. I'll take Muhammad to, stuff the takedowns. Round 1 could be iffy, but keep it on the feet. I think he's the much better striker. And Muhammad's not a bad grappler himself. It's just you do not want to go down to the mat with Damian Maia, especially early. I'll take Muhammad. He's only minus 215. So the line's coming down a little bit. Muhammad minus 270. I know a lot of people are parlaying Muhammad. That's fine. He probably wins, but it's not something I'd do personally. I would have liked to see Muhammad, stuff more takedowns. I'd like to see him on his back a little bit more. I don't know, but it's hard to pick Maia at this point of time. But yeah, 7,200 for Maia. I'll be playing a little bit. I think I have like 17% Maia. I don't really have much Muhammad. I know a lot of people think he's going to starch Maia, but you take a look at Muhammad's career in the UFC, only 1 knockout. That was a while ago. Maia, typically very durable. Yes, he got knocked out by Gilbert Burns, but Maia has been knocked out only 2 times in a handful of fights. Muhammad more of a decisionator. I think Muhammad does win by decision, which is plus 105. So if you like Muhammad, maybe the decision prop. I think fight goes the distance is a solid play. If I wasn't already so invested with this card, I'd probably play that fight goes the distance at minus 150. But yeah, I'll take Muhammad, just not overly confident in it, but he should win. What if Hill gets confidence wrestling and gets himself caught in a sub? That could happen. It could happen. Or maybe he knocks down Paul Craig, or maybe Paul Craig pulls guard and Hill's confident in his ground game and goes into Hill's or Craig's guard. It could definitely happen. Love this line. Vittori, Fig, Edwards, Calderwood, Davis, and Frevola. I don't hate it. Hey, Brady, what do you think of an Izzy, Calderwood, Moreno parlay? I would not do that personally. You could play Moreno straight. He's a dog. You could play Calderwood straight. Izzy. I wouldn't bet Izzy. How does Marvin win the fight? We'll talk about it soon. Belal can't finish anyone, and Maia is an underrated wrestler because of Usman Woodley Covington fights. Yeah, Maia's wrestling's pretty solid. It's just he does not have the best cardio. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Maia's output won't match Belal's, right? No, it will not. I'm just worried about the ground game. I got Maia. Muhammad is not on the level with any of the fighters Maia's lost to. You look through Belal Muhammad's career, and he hasn't really beat anybody that great. So, but at the end of the day, Maia is like 43 years old, so can't go there. Can't bet it, but I will pick Muhammad ever so slightly. All right, Leon Edwards going against Nate Diaz. This is going to start my parlay. And I'll kind of tell you guys right now, I have Leon Edwards parlayed with Davis and Figueiredo. Got it at minus 150 earlier in the week. I'm not sure what it is now, probably around there because money's coming in on Moreno. But yeah, minus 150, 1.5 units on it. I like Edwards to get it done. I think at this point of their career, Edwards has Diaz covered, just about everywhere outside of maybe the, pure jiu-jitsu. But, Edwards, great wrestler, great grappler himself. I think on the feet, Edwards is going to have a pretty decent advantage. I think he can even mix in the takedowns as well, stay out of trouble. And I like Edwards to win here, pretty confidently. And, the line does back that up. He's minus 560. I parlayed him at minus 450. I know there's some people that's going to take on some shots on Nate Diaz and all that good stuff, but I do think it's a really good fight for Edwards. I do think he wins. And I do think he scores, decently on DraftKings as well, just with the style of Nate Diaz. I think Edwards can rack up the takedowns, control time, decent amount of strikes. And I would not be shocked at all if Edwards did finish this fight, by strikes or like a cut stoppage situation. Diaz, he was getting hurt quite a bit in that Jorge fight. I remember him getting stumbled or wobbling around a little bit a couple times in that fight. Ultimately lost by a cut stoppage. I can honestly see that happening here. Diaz is somebody that cuts open very, very easily. But yeah, I think Edwards is definitely live for that KO. So this is something that sucks. I bet the Edwards wins by KO TKO on FanDuel when it opened up at plus 240, and they voided my bet, which sucked because that was the first time that FanDuel ever voided any bet that I placed. But they had the fight set for a 3-round belt, so they voided my plus 240 knockout prop for Edwards, which would have been nice. But ultimately, I went back and still played the knockout prop for Edwards. I do think he does get it done inside the distance. So the line that I got it at was Edwards wins by KO TKO plus 150, half a unit on that. It's currently at plus 100. So lots of money coming in on that knockout prop. And I tend to agree with it. I think he gets it done either by like a cut stoppage or, probably just even finishing him. I can see it happening. I mean, I just don't think the durability is there anymore. Let's see what we got here. But yeah, should be fun. Should be fun. Okay, head up the chat real quick. Maia said it's his last fight. I could see him retiring on a win. Did you finish all 30 wings? No, I gave like 10 to Ali. Parlay Joanne Calderwood at your own peril. Yeah, I wouldn't parlay Joanne. I mean, you could probably just play her straight if you like, or by decision. Can't rely on a Bilal decision fighter who can lose a round just to control time of mind, gets him down 100%. Edwards, 4th round KO. Diaz sounded really off in the ESPN interview. Head not in the right place. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree. Tweet your picks. I always do. I'll be tweeting them out early tomorrow. Did you lean Evloev? Yep, picking Evloev to win, not betting it. Moreno, looking good after seeing Figgy at the weigh-ins. Or I think you're talking to somebody else on there. But yeah. So yeah, I like Edwards. I like Edwards to get it done. As far as DFS 9,500, I don't hate it. I mean, I think he can score pretty decent. Figueiredo, Brandon Moreno. Like I said, it's going to end that parlay. Edwards minus 450 parlayed with Davison Figueiredo. I think I parlayed him at he was like minus 250. I'll double check on it. Yeah, minus 250 for Figueiredo, minus 450 for Edwards. Got it at minus 141 actually, so even better. 1.5 units on it. And yeah, I like Figueiredo to get it done. The weigh-ins obviously was a big concern. It looked like he was kind of stumbling in a way, looking a little shaky, walking to the scale. There were some people there that were, by him just in case he did fall or something like that. And we just saw the ceremonial weigh-ins. Go check those out if you did not. But to me, Figueiredo looked very, very good. Very good. I mean, I didn't see any bad signs other than, I guess you could say the sunglasses are a bad sign if you do believe in the sunglasses narrative, which is a fake narrative. But still, he looked great. So I do think he rehydrated, all good. And this is a guy that was in the hospital the night before their first fight. So I have no doubt in my mind that he is going to show up tomorrow and we're going to get a very good version of Figgy, tough weight cut or not, because all of his weight cuts are tough. I mean, this is somebody that cuts a ton of weight in this division. And he's talking about going up a weight class in the very near future as well. So, yeah, I'm pretty high on Figgy here. Obviously, we saw the first fight ended in a draw. And, for one, I thought the commentary was extremely biased. And it was kind of making me mad because, Moreno would land a shot that maybe didn't land or it was blocked. And they'd say Figueiredo's hurt. Figueiredo looked completely fine. And then Figueiredo lands a bunch of hard shots and it's just silence. So I think that kind of... I don't know. And then they did take away 1 point for Figgy. I think it was he kicked Moreno in the nuts. If that point wasn't taken away, then Figueiredo won. And then I think I forget who said this, but if Figueiredo would have won the 5th round on all 3 judges' scorecards, he also would have won the fight, which that kind of makes me sick because he clearly won the 5th round. But I guess a judge gave the 5th round to Moreno, which that's sickening because that 5th round was not even close. But yeah, I mean, it's a competitive fight. I think the numbers and the significant strike numbers are going to be competitive. I think Moreno can get down Figgy here and there, but Figgy's ground game, get up game is, very good. It's definitely improved from the past. And then we're just going to be able to see who's landing the harder shots. Maybe Joe Rogan won't see who's landing the harder shots, but the judges will be seeing who's landing the harder shots, and it's going to be Figueiredo. And I think there's a good chance of a finish. You take a look at the interviews of Figueiredo. He's predicting a first round finish. He said he wants to go out here and kill Moreno. And I think if he does that, he has a good likelihood of doing it. I mean, Figueiredo is very, very dangerous. Moreno has never been knocked out, never been submitted, but there's a first time for everything. If somebody's going to do it, it's going to be Figgy. And then also, if he did have a tough weight cut, which I do think he did, maybe Figueiredo does slow down as the fight goes on. He didn't last time. Maybe he does this time. Maybe Moreno gets a late finish. So I did parlay Edwards and Figueiredo. I like that parlay quite a bit. Minus 141, 1.5 units. And then I also have the violence parlay. I have Frevola, McKinney. Fight doesn't go to decision. Also with Figueiredo, Moreno. Fight doesn't go to decision. Minus 140. It's plus 155, 1 unit on that. So those are my 2 parlays. I think this fight finishes. I think it's going to be a war, just as last time was. But I think someone goes down this time. And I think Moreno does go down. I think Figueiredo does get him out of there early. But like I said, if the fight does go on and Figgy did have a tough weight cut, Moreno's going to be very live in those later rounds for a finish. But yeah, as far as DFS goes, I'm going to have a ton of Figgy. He's one of my highest owned fighters. And then I'll have a lot of Moreno as well. 7,100. I like the price tag. He scored like 80 points in the draw last time. So if he would have got that win, it would have been 110. So I think it's a great fight to target on DraftKings. But I will take Figueiredo. I'll take the violence. I do think he gets it done inside the distance. I know a lot of people on Moreno, based off the fact that people hate him. And based off the fact that people really like Moreno, as do I. And then also based off the fact that it was a really close fight last time. And a lot of people might think that, this fight should be lined closer. I'm personally fine with the line. Honestly tempted to put more on Figueiredo if more money does come in on Moreno. Like Figgy at minus 190, I don't have access to that line. But if I did, I'd probably play it at minus 190. But if I wake up tomorrow and Figgy's like, minus 190, minus 180, I will then be forced to, put more money on Figueiredo more than likely. Like I do think he should be a decent sized favorite, regardless of what happened in that fight, because there are things that happen in the fight that, the point taken away, Figgy having food poisoning, being in the hospital the night before. I think those are some really key factors in this fight. And I think Figueiredo is the better fighter, but we'll see what happens. But really, really good fight. Figgy always loses points. He's shady. Yep. I mean, maybe he does lose a point or two in this fight. See what we got. It's going to be harder to add Figgy and Hill in the DK lineups. Yeah, I'm personally not having much problems with that because I do like so many pump plays. Are you interested in playing any round props on this card? No, not really. I think Hill first round knockout's interesting, but other than that, nah. Grab the fence. Yeah, he grabbed the fence. I think there's an eye poke, and I think he kicked him in the nuts as well. I think he did all 3. Rogan is the worst commentator by a mile. Should stick to talking about aliens with Alex Jones. Yeah, a lot of people don't like him. I mean, he's okay, but sometimes he's just inconsistent. Sorry to say, but the UFC judge was drunk in the last round scoring for Figgy. I thought Figgy won that round as well, or scoring from Moreno. Yeah, I agree. No, Maddie, I'm 90% sure it was a kick to the nuts, but he did grab the fence a few times. I'm not exactly sure. Yep, Moreno does have some really good durability. Izzy, Luigi, Hill, Parlay. I'd play Luigi straight as a dog, but maybe like Izzy, Hill if you do like that. I wouldn't do that, but you could. I need Edwards and Figgy to win. 675 gone if one of those 2 legs lose. Hopefully you get it, man. I like it personally. What's up, Herculean? How you doing? Good luck tomorrow, reffing and stuff. How many hours does it start? It starts, I don't know, 20, 21 hours. Are they tonight? No, they are not. Quit hating on Rogan. All right. So, main event time. Looking forward to it. Before we do so, if you guys can leave a like, let's try to get to 100 likes. Thank you all for hanging out. I know the Bellator is going on. I know a lot of stuff's going on tonight, so do appreciate everybody showing up. If you are watching this in the future, thank you for watching as well. Leave a like. Do appreciate it quite a bit. Going live tomorrow, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, 1 hour prior to the start time of the prelims, as always. And we have a dono here. Blingy. What's up, Blingy? Blingy is back again. You are my baby boy blue, Brady. Appreciate that, Blingy. Appreciate the dono. Good luck to you tomorrow, man. Hopefully you do well. Best UFC YouTuber. Appreciate that. Oh, I got it. Appreciate that. Rogan was a disgrace in the Izzy Yan fight. Completely biased. Yeah, he's biased, man. He's biased sometimes. There we go. Got the 100 mark. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. Punt the brakes, hit the likes. I agree. All right. Yeah. So interesting fight. I guess like earlier in the week, I had more confidence in Adesanya. But as the week goes on, looking into it a little bit more, I feel like this fight could play out close. And, even then, like I thought this fight's going to play out close, but I did lean to the Izzy side by a slight margin. I do think the line's off, a little bit, but this fight could play out close. I mean, Adesanya on paper has very good takedown defense, and he does. He really does. He's not a Kevin Holland who can't stuff a takedown. He's not Kevin Holland who is content to be on his back. Izzy does, have a solid get-up game. Maybe not against a 205 or in Jan Blachowicz, but this is going to be at 185. I think that's key. I think people might be looking into the Blachowicz fight a little bit too much. But he did lose that fight. He did get taken down, did get controlled. It's just different weight class. So, Vettori, solid wrestler, very good grappler. The problem I have is I do think that Adesanya is going to be stuffing a lot of takedowns. I do think he does get taken down, but the example where I brought up was the Yusuf Salau fight where he shot 17 takedowns against Sean Woodson. He's only able to get 2 of them. Salau is somebody that trains at a very good camp. He has a very good gas tank. He had a full camp for that fight. And basically what I'm getting to is it is very taxing on your cardio to put all your strength, all your effort into a takedown and not get it. And the reason why I like Adesanya is I can see a lot of that happening here. I can see Vettori, going for a lot of takedowns and Adesanya, stuffing a lot of them as well. Adesanya has a very good takedown defense. So that kind of worries me, especially going into, later the fight goes. Like, how is Vettori's gas tank going to be? Vettori's somebody that, his gas tanks looked better, but he is notorious for slowing down as the fight goes on. So that scares me. But ultimately, I'll take Adesanya. I don't love the line. I'm not betting him. I know a lot of people are going to parlay him. I wouldn't do that personally. But I do think Adesanya wins the striking exchanges by a decent margin. But I do think Vettori could steal a round or 2 in this fight. And that scares me a little bit. But yeah, Vettori, good wrestler, good takedowns, good grappler, good control. It's just as the fight goes on, I'm curious to see how Vettori's gas tank does look. But yeah, as far as DFS goes, I don't have much interest in Adesanya. I like a lot more fighters more. I like Davis and Figueiredo more. I like Edwards more. I like Jamal Hill more. I like Matt Frevola more. Adesanya is somebody that typically does not score that well on DraftKings. And you have, 4 other options that I think are better. And they're going to have Adesanya, who's going to carry a lot of ownership because he is the main event, because he's a highly liked fighter. So I'm not going to have much Adesanya. I have a little bit. I think I have like 15, 16%. So I'm going to be way under the field. And I completely faded him last time against Jan Blachowicz. I completely faded him. I had like 0% Adesanya, had like 35%, 30% Jan Blachowicz. It all worked out. And I'm kind of going back to that here again. I do have quite a bit of Marvin Vettori. I think I have around like 30% Vettori, because it's really hard to ignore for 1, the price, 2, the grappling, the takedown upside, the control time upside. And if he does win in any type of way, whether it's a close decision, maybe an early sub, which I don't think is all that likely, but maybe he does win a decision, maybe he does a close fight. I think he scores very well with those takedowns. I think he has a style that can score very well. So I like Vettori on DraftKings. As far as a pick, I'll take Adesanya. I just don't feel overly confident in it. And honestly, at first look, I thought I was going to be betting Vettori here. But I was kind of impressed with the takedown defense of Adesanya. It was a little bit better than I thought it was. And then also, I think the get-up game is pretty solid as well. I think people might be looking into the Blachowicz fight a little bit too much. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend doing that myself because it's at a completely different weight class. But I could be wrong. Maybe, I don't know. But it's going to be a close fight. It's going to be a close fight, a good fight. I think it's a great fight. I'll be watching it. No action from a betting perspective. I was looking at potentially doing like Adesanya by decision, sprinkle the rounds 4 and 5, but I'm not even going to mess around with that. I think Vettori is live in this fight. So no bet for me. Picks Adesanya, Vettori on DraftKings, but it should be fun. The main event should be 50-50 here. Being close, then Izzy being that high in odds after losing to Jan. Izzy 8,900. Yeah, I don't want to say 50-50, but I do think it should be lined a little bit closer. Is he going to murder him? It won't last a round. Yeah, I'd be shocked. I mean, Vettori is somebody that's very durable. Never been knocked out. Never been knocked down. Massive wrestling one is his game. Yeah, he'll stuff some, but Vettori's going to get a few. Yep, he will get a few. Some control time. Yep, I agree. Extremely close for the first time. Vettori is improved. Yep, I agree with all those statements. Vettori all day. Pick by sub are crazy odds for how many subs he has in his career. Worth a stab, maybe. Figure out by sub plus 700. I'm leaning more towards like a TKO, but maybe a sub happens. I'm excited for Diaz Edwards. I am as well. Thoughts on the over under 1.5 on Craig Hill? I would go the under. I would bet it if I was not already, very invested into the fight doesn't get the decision. Yeah, I think the under is a pretty solid look. Holland made Vettori look like Khabib. Adesanya will destroy him. Yeah. You can't really compare Adesanya to Holland. I hope people aren't doing that because Holland's takedown defense is atrocious compared to Adesanya, and his get-up game's even worse. Adesanya has successfully defended 47 out of 57 takedown attempts. Like, think of how impressive that is. Against him thus far in the UFC, 82.46%. Yeah, that's very, very good. And he's facing some solid wrestlers. Nothing against Vettori here, but he did do himself favors by not finishing Holland, or he didn't do himself favors by not finishing Holland. Yeah, then again, Holland's very tough to finish. Holland's a black belt in BJJ. Holland has never been knocked out, so Holland is, durable. What's up, Randy? A curious question in regards to DK Fantasy. Do you watch your winnings or losses live on DK? I used to like refresh it every second. But I usually don't check until like a couple fights left. Like I checked last week and I saw that I needed Rosenstruck for a potential takedown. I checked then, but I really don't like checking like nonstop. I'd rather just, enjoy the fights and check it later as it goes. Is he projected to be around 41% owned? Yeah, he's going to be pretty high owned. Main event, popular guy. I see it. Fight is a good decision. These guys seem like they hate each other and will go for the finish more often than not. Yeah, but both guys never been knocked out. Both guys have never lost by submission. Both guys have never been stopped. That's my only concern. But yeah, it could happen. Vettori's way too cheap on DK. The first fight was extremely close. I'm not looking into the first fight as much as other people. But yeah, this fight's going to be close as well, I do think. So yeah, 6,900 on DraftKings. You sign me up for sure. Vettori won't be denied. Plug that DK contest for Patreon members to get it filled. Yeah, I think we need to have like 9 more spots. So I'm doing like a Patreon contest for DraftKings. It's like $10 to enter. Pays out the top 3. So if you are on the Patreon, be sure to get into that. I think we have like 9 more spots left. Just take the fight, goes to decision. Yeah, I lean towards that as well, which is like minus 130, but just wouldn't bet it personally. I'm just parlaying the juiced over 1.5. That's all. I don't feel safe with anything else on the headliner. Not a bad spot. It's probably like minus 300, but not a terrible spot. Weird to think about, but if the on fight didn't happen, Adesanya would probably be close to minus 300. Yeah, I agree with you there. Best dogs besides Luigi. So my highest owned dogs are going to be Luigi, Hooper, McKinney, and then I have a decent amount of Moreno. I have a decent amount of Vettori as well. So those are my 5 heaviest dogs. I have some Alexis Davis. I have some Brad Riddell. I have some Paul Craig. So, stuff like that. Guys, Izzy's like John Jones in 185. Yeah, Vettori might get 2 to 3 takedowns. Keep it there for 6 seconds. That's all. Yeah, I don't think it's going to look like the Holland fight. But we'll see, man. I mean, I'm going to be rooting for Marvin Vettori. I'm more of a Marvin Vettori guy myself, but as far as a pick, I'll go Izzy. And then I'll also be rooting for Vettori because I do have him on DraftKings quite a bit. I wouldn't parlay Izzy personally. But if you like it, yeah, minus 105. Do you think everyone in the UFC takes PEDs? Not everyone, maybe some. So yeah, I'll quickly go over my bets. So my only straight bet of the night, Steven Peterson, minus 124, 1.25 units on it. Got this one a while ago. Like I said, I wasn't expecting the line move towards Hooper, but really I can't be shocked. I can't be shocked. Lots of hype on the Hooper side. My two parlays, the one is going to be Figueiredo parlay with Edwards, minus 141, 1.5 units. The other one, Figgy Moreno fight doesn't go to decision, parlayed with McKinney Frevola fight doesn't go to decision, plus 155, 1 unit on that. Violence parlay. I have Paul Craig, Jamal Hill fight doesn't go to decision, minus 235, 5 units, max bet. Need that one to hit really bad. Then I also have Paul Craig, Jamal Hill fight does not start round 3, plus 112, 1 unit on it. I have Edwards wins by TKO KO, plus 150, half a unit on it. I have Luigi Meeny wins by submission, plus 950, 0.25 units on it. I have a Joanne Calderwood wins by decision, plus 125, 1 unit on it. And I think I have Matt Frevola, Terrence McKinney fight doesn't go to decision, minus 150, 1.5 units on it. So yeah, lots of action. I try to really pick my spots this week. Not a lot of straight bets stuck out really. But I do like a lot of these props quite a bit. So yeah, but my night comes down to the Hill and Craig fight finishing, which, like I said, nobody's picking that fight to go to the distance. So man, I'm scared to be honest, but I do think it hits, and I'm confident it does hit. Let's see what we got, and then we'll head out of here. What do you think of my parlay? Izzy, Bilal, Leon, Figgy, let me know. I'm picking all of them to win. Anything to take away from weigh-ins? Just about to watch it. Yeah, so the only thing I really took away was Peterson did come in overweight, and he looked fine. It looked like he didn't really try to kill himself to make the weight. I think he might have done it for some type of advantage, which would be kind of smart against Chase Hooper, the smaller guy. So yeah, he missed weight there. He looked fine to me. And then Figgy looked awful on the skills. He looked, really shaky. People were helping him to the skills, but we just saw the ceremonial weigh-ins, and Figgy looked good. He looked very good. So I think Figgy's fine. We see it happen every week. Not every week, but most weeks. Guys look bad on the scales. They come out. They still win. We saw, Ryan Spann look really bad on the scales. We saw Bontorin look very bad on the scales. I thought Bontorin was about to not fight. Ended up going out there and beating Matt Chanel. So we see it happen, ever so often. But, Vegas loves it. Vegas loves it. Good luck all. Defense by the numbers, Brady. Keep it up, dude. Appreciate that. Gaming Wolf. I don't see a realistic path to victory for Hooper. He has path to victory. He's pulling guard and going for a heel hook. Good luck. But, man, I don't know. I will try to join the Patreon at some point. Appreciate that, Gaming Wolf. Love to see you on there. I wish I could buy you a beer and talk UFC me as well, man. Okay, so yeah, I'll head out. I got to do 2 videos. Like I said, I already got pretty much everything done. So I'm going to kind of enjoy the night, sit back, watch some Bellator. And yeah, enjoy your guys the rest of the night. See you guys tomorrow, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Thank you all for hanging out. Appreciate the donos. Lots of donos tonight. Really do appreciate that. Appreciate all the likes. We got that 100 mark, which I do like. And last couple questions here. What do you all think about the ownership on Diaz? I have it around 15 to 20%. I don't see it being too crazy, but I can see it being somewhat high owned because it is, it's Diaz. Askarov looked horrible on a 1 pound miss against Benavidez and beat him soundly. Yeah, exactly. I think people look into it a little bit too much, but I could be wrong. I mean, Figueiredo could gas out, look horrible. I don't know, but he looked good to me at the ceremonial weigh-in. So that's about it, guys. Good luck, and see you guys tomorrow.